Next up is our headline sponsor, Qualitest. You would have already seen the Qualitest page advertisement on the event guide that's there. Qualitest today is represented by Rajesh Subramony. He's the managing director, Qualitest India, and his topic is Qualitest, an ambassador, or quality an ambassador and the guardian.
Am I audible? That's the first thing everybody asks. We're doing our testing. It's part of our daily life. So I wanted to take us through a journey that talks about the different hats quality has worn over the years, and maybe take a little peek into what the future looks like. The restart will be worse. Adel? Take a look at this picture. Regardless of the generation, every young kid either wants to be Superman, Spider-Man, or a doctor. That's again a person that they get to visit often. Take a look at this one. Different stages of his life, the tongue always sticks out. And this one is my favorite. I wonder how he manages to look the same across so many years, more than 300. Some things don't change. And so is the relevance of quality. So with this introduction, let's look at the evolution of quality. Around 15 to 20 years ago, those of you here who are bold enough to admit that you've been in the industry for 15 to 20 years, quality played the role of a gatekeeper. Those were the days of checklists, go, no-go decisions. Did you get QA sign-off? Independent testing was a big keyword. There was one wonderful presentation by Vitali on dog fooding, and I saw a lot of questions around independence. Is it right for the developer and the tester to do the same thing? So independent testing as a concept started picking up. Defect detection was the primary outcome. You test something, you find it. You find quality challenges, quality problems. So as we moved forward, post probably 2008, 2000, after the subprime mortgage crisis, there was a mad rush to optimize, and quality was an area that could provide that efficiency, provide that optimization. And from a gatekeeper, quality became a custodian. A custodian where you had terms like end-to-end testing, non-functional testing, mobile testing, automation used to be ROI based. If there is returns, you do automation. Words like TCOE, MTC, Managed Test Center, Managed Test Services, Managed Quality Centers, started coming up. And the focus was defect prevention. Now, this is around the time that I entered the quality industry as well, and one of the senior people who inducted me into this group gave me a sound advice. Son, you're coming into the world of quality. You need two things. The first is thick skin, and the second is the ability to be held guilty until proven innocent. And I was surprised, and I asked him, why do you say that? I understand the first one. Second one, why do you say that? I had been an architect myself, I had been a developer. What happens when something breaks in production? What do you ask? Who tested it? Who did the QA for this? You never ask who developed it, who designed it, who gave the requirements. You never ask all these things because everything comes together in testing. And that's when I really understood that stepping into the industry at that time, the custodian hat that quality was starting to wear. Everywhere they had to own up the responsibility of quality, owner for quality. Yeah. The next hat that quality had to wear was that of an evangelist. Why restrict quality to the testing phase alone? Chip left, chip right. Engineer quality across the cycle. So, newer concepts like non-functional testing by design, DevOps, hyper-automation. Why automate only testing? Can you not automate beyond that? Integrated as a service, these were the keywords that started getting a lot of attention. And accelerating quality. Can you deliver quality at the maximum speed? That was the key outcome. It was around this time that Agile and DevOps also started picking up, lending a lot of credence to quality's role as an evangelist. Recently, quality has become a catalyst for a digital transformation. If you notice what gave quality the credibility to wear the hat of a gatekeeper was domain knowledge. You cannot test what you do not know. So you need domain knowledge, you need application knowledge, functional knowledge to test something. And as we progressed and the use of technology for testing started increasing, engineering started coming. So when the world was trying to capitalize or create markets for themselves in the digital economy, what actually came to the forefront was the evolution of quality as a function with solid application knowledge, domain knowledge, powered by technology. And this made QA the ideal catalyst. Do you want to move to the cloud? Do you want to develop native cloud applications? Do you want to move, provide data engineering solutions? Anything that you wanted to do, anything that you wanted to do from a transformation perspective, you needed QA there as a catalyst. So that's the most recent role that QA has been playing. What about the future? And we'll talk about some thoughts that we have here and how the future looks like. So let's look at some of the technologies shaping the future. And again, this is not an exhaustive list. I've just pulled out a few technologies that seem to be very popular. AI. A lot of drama around it even over the last few days, isn't it? I keep telling my wife not to wash those soaps, and I found that over the last 3-4 days this is more interesting than some of the soaps she washes. So, AI-infused apps, AI-augmented development, generative AI, of course. Phygital. I'm sure you would have heard about this term, phygital. It's nothing but a combination of physical and digital. And we had a wonderful presentation at the start of today on IoT and how testing needs to evolve to keep up with the solutions and challenges that these solutions are throwing. Digital connected applications, sustainable technology, smart meters, they're coming out. I come from Tamil Nadu, Chennai. I hear that they're going to be implementing smart meters from next year. Looking forward to that. UK, Ireland, they've already implemented smart meters. Machine customers. If your customers are machines, what if your user is actually an AI assistant? How will you deal with it? Experience engineering, calling for high availability, high resilience, interactive customer journeys. Platform engineering, people started creating portals, then they started creating apps, then they started creating more apps, and then they wanted to bring all these apps together, to create platforms to bring multiple things together. Continuous threat exposure management. With all these technologies, the risk of threat exposure also increases. If you are doing continuous automation, if you are doing continuous development, continuous delivery, you also need to do continuous exposure management. Let's take a look at some of the examples. The first screen that you see here, any guesses? If anybody has taken a look at Adobe Firefly, this is the typical screen that you see there. And what we've written there is change the scene to winter. This is what you get. DigiYatra. Bangalore uses DigiYatra. I'm sure all of you have tried using. Anybody here who has not used DigiYatra? Very few. See? So you've used DigiYatra extensively. And it's amazing how all these things come together to provide, it's such an important security function that has been taken over by technology. Yeah, we didn't really win the cup, but we broke the record. We broke the record, 5.3 crores, that's $500 million users, and nothing broke. People were watching the cup on their, the match on their devices, computers, Wi-Fi enabled TVs, smart TVs. Online gaming has taken a new dimension. Multi-user gaming, the kind of games that people get to play today, it requires experience engineering. This is one of the most popular casinos, and it doesn't exist anywhere. It's virtual. So the entire casino experience, Super Slots, it's been built on a simple app. And they're successful because they're able to engineer the experience. Platform engineering in cloud, super apps. How many of you have used Tata Neu? Tata Neu is a super app. And so is Adani One for travel logistics. Continuous threat exposure management. They're talking about generative AI. They can go to do a lot of wonderful things. But can the same technology be used for destructive purposes? When you copy code that is provided by Gen AI, how do you know it is not infected? Maybe it works. It works for you, but it does something that you don't want it to do. So continuous, what you see here is worm GPT. And there are statistics that show that 30 to 40% of code taken from GPTs are infected. Now, we've taken a look at the technologies, some of the technologies. Again, it's not, Gartner gives 10 wonderful technology trends. Please look that up. You find most of them there. There are others also. What do we do today? We do testing, we test functionality, we look at performance, test data management, very important, continuous automation, we enable DevOps. Now, how do we expect these service offerings to evolve? What you see on the right-hand side are service offerings that quality needs to offer, data ops, model ops. You do test data management today, you can do that tomorrow. Intelligent app testing, DevSecOps, FinOps. How do you make sure your operations on the cloud are financially most effective and efficient? Phygital, Gen AI powered QE, digital safety. How do you provide trustworthiness? site reliability testing, and observability and resilience. So these are the offerings of the future, and some of these offerings already are being offered by a number of leading players. When you look at these offerings closely, you see that two prominent themes emerge. Convergence, where you have multiple offerings coming together to provide the validation for quality or verification for quality, or intelligence. You not only track what the application does, how the application behaves in different situations, and how you can help keep it safe and trustworthy. So all the offerings that we saw emerging, we pretty much were able to organize them around two themes, convergence and intelligence. Which brings us back to the first slide. So let's try and answer this question. Quality will evolve to become an ambassador for convergence and a guardian for intelligence. Services like AI data services, data ops, model ops, DApps is blockchain, distributed apps, observability for continuous threat exposure management, cognitive QA takes automation to automating automation. And what this provides to businesses is digital advantage. If we are able to get this right, the organization is going to capture the market, increase their market share, and grab more market share from the new, or in some cases even create a digital market. So that's typically how we see the evolution of quality moving into the future. This is the first time Qualitest is coming to this forum, and we are excited to be here. The three presentations that we had prior to this, I found them very interesting. And interestingly, I was just chatting with our friend from Deloitte. Most of the testing that we do for defense organizations revolve around what he was talking about, Internet of Things, and how all the examples spoke about a drone tracking avocados and tomatoes. We actually work with a company, I don't want to name the company here, they do use drones, but it's used for tracking hemp marijuana manufacturing in California. Similarly, we are working with a consortium in UK that is using drones for benefit of farmers, general agriculture. We're working with the largest defense organization in the world, Elbit. We're working with them to actually test some of these devices that are used in the war. Very interesting, in my visit to Israel, I've been in the app world throughout my career. It's the first time I was approaching other things. Very interesting for me when a person there told me, look, when you give a profile for a tester, what do you do? Okay, 4 years experience, Java, Selenium, maybe a little bit of Python, a little bit of C#. Great. Then our work, what job description, 4 years experience testing M126 tanks. Because they take these testers, they put them into the simulators and make them test. So I just want to leave you with this thought around the evolution of quality. And as Qualitest, we are excited about the future. We are working on our offerings and we are tuning them to meet the themes of convergence and guardian. And hope all of you, agree with the direction And if there are any questions that any of you may have, I'd like to address that.
Questions, anyone? See your hand there.
Hi, thank you so much. I think very informative, the journey of QA and testing through the years, and of course your experience shows on the slide as well. Thank you so much. The important thing, I think, we talked about, I think, multiple presentations, and you talked about Gen AI as well, right? I think the big challenge of using AI in testing is already kind of solved. A lot of people are already using AI. But testing AI or testing Gen AI seems to be something that a lot of people are asking. Okay, just like how we talked about dog fooding, are we creating a product? Many companies are creating Gen AI based products or AI based products, and how are these being tested? And looking at the last bucket, you talked about autonomous automation as well. So just wanted these two topics, if you had more to say on that.
See, it's in early stages, and everybody's learning. Most experts feel that it will not be anytime near in the future when Gen AI will be directly used across an enterprise. There are, of course, areas where Gen AI can find use without much damage. For example, let's take a look at digital marketing. So these are conversations that need to happen. Digital advertising. So, and you can't do a lot of harm there. So there are some areas which will be revolutionized because of Gen AI. But then you probably cannot trust Gen AI to do mission critical things or things that impact lives. So that's a long way away. There's another interesting study about Gen AI that done by McKinsey that I came across recently. And it resonates with what Bill Gates used to say about automation. Automation, he used to say, automation done rightly magnifies the efficiency, just as automation done wrongly magnifies the inefficiency. Similarly, this study found out that this was done with people using Copilot. It was given to two sets of people. One was an experienced, people who were experienced, and second was a set of freshers who just out of college, no experience using Office or any of those. What they found was same tasks were given to both, and what they found out was the people with experience did exhibit some productivity gains. It varied based on the experience, based on how they used Copilot. But the people who did not know the task were fresh, they ended up creating more errors, creating more rework, and more testing. So essentially what this means is if it's applied in the right way, it can yield benefits. But it can go terribly wrong also, exponentially wrong, if it is not done in the right way. So the short answer to your question is people are still exploring this. And the first thing that we expect to evolve is, I think Europe is, we heard about the White House speaking about a framework. Europe is also moving ahead with that. The first thing that we need is a framework, a set of standards for safe AI. And once that's done, then we need a governance to implement. And that is when you will start seeing the usage. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Rajesh. Any other questions?
Thank you so much for your talk. It's not a question, it's rather an addition. There is a very interesting study in MedTech where they use AI. So what they compared two types of usage, where an unprofessional doctor, non-professional doctor, just someone from the street, uses AI which scans the X-ray for lungs cancer or lung or whatever. And another type of usage is where the doctor uses the AI. So if AI has an issue, the doctor can spot it, but the AI helps him see that, okay, there is 100% there is cancer. And there are other usage where an unprofessional person was professionals using the AI, you couldn't spot the issues with AI. So this type of usage where the doctors, the professionals use it called augmentation. So we use AI and professional knowledge and experience, then it works well. It resonates with what you said about Copilot. Thank you.
Any others?
Thank you for the session, sir. It's not related to Qualitest. It's more about like because you are the MD of Qualitest, and we are from testing background, and we look forward to you as like being the junior. So I just want to know like any one positive thing in your career which like you've taken a kind of step which has given a leap in your career, and one negative thing which you could have avoided in your career which can help us in our learnings to grow.
Okay. It's not related to the presentation. I think it's the same thing. The answer is the same thing. It's about taking risks. In some points in my career, there have been challenges and risks that came up, and I've noticed that I've been able to move forward, push forward with the challenges. If I confront the challenges and risks, or take on the challenges and risks, rather, it's not something that comes to me directly. I take it on. And again, sometimes, for some reasons, I would have avoided certain challenges, and that has definitely put me back. You see, the good thing about challenges is, in a previous life, I used to be known as the person who can go and fix problems. Whether it's a legal problem, whether it's a client problem, whether it's a technology problem, go and fix problems. And people used to ask me, that thing is so messed up. How can you even go there? How can you even, take a shot at it? The way I looked at it was different. It is already messed up. Nobody's going to blame me. It cannot be, it cannot get worse than that. And whatever you do there to make it a little better is always will be appreciated. So taking on risks, challenges, and there is a thin line between being brave and being foolish. So you have to tread that carefully. But the short answer to your question is take risks, take calculated risks, take on challenges. Nothing to lose, only to gain.
Take on challenges and move on. Any other questions, audience?
Hello, sir. So thank you for very good presentation. And as we are talking about evaluation of the quality, right? So like how do you see the kind of knowledge that we have today, like maybe the REST automations that we are doing today, and it is going to be the kind of automation as well, right? So the challenges with the current skill sets and what upgradations that we may need to see in the future, and at the same time, the jobs that autonomous automation, right? That is going to capture from the current level as well. So what is your opinion on that?
Very interesting. In 2010, I attended Star West. It's a conference in the US. I was attending Star West, and there was a presentation from a gentleman, an SDET from Google. So the term SDET itself wasn't popular around that time. And this gentleman came over there and he asked a question: how many of you are testers? And everybody raised their arms. Okay, how many of you do manual testing? So half of the folks raised their hands. He said, in the next 5 years, unless you learn automation, the jobs are going away. So, and people were wondering, how can it suddenly go? There'll be some manual testing, it has to be there. How does it go away? Maybe it is true as well. Even today, there is a lot of testing that happens in some of these new technologies is not automated. It is manual. It has to be manual. So, but has that reduced the opportunities or taken away jobs? It changed the nature of jobs. So today, I remember 10 years ago when you give rate cards, you have one rate card for a functional tester and a higher rate card for automation tester. Today, you try that, most clients will say no. They expect everybody to know automation. It's the norm. So if you go and say manual tester, this is the rate and we have a higher rate for automation today, you're supposed to know automation. So today everybody, when you do testing, it's not automation by choice, you do manual by choice, by exception. That is how you do testing today. Everything is automated. Okay, you can't automate one or two, you do it manually. Whereas if you look at the first stage, people like automation, they do it. Second, if there is return, they do it. Third, you automate as much as possible, you automate everything across the life cycle. So it has evolved. None of this evolution in technology has taken away jobs. It has changed the nature of jobs, and it has made technology do more to the impact, to the effect that today we have digital economies being created by technologies. Never heard of it. Economy was always something that was very, very fundamental. I don't know what Adam Smith would have spoken about this today, but I'm sure he would have never visualized something like technology coming in and driving or creating new markets and economies. Again, summarize and short answer to your question, jobs are going to go away, which is jobs that become redundant. But then new jobs will be created. And what you can create as an impact or an outcome with these jobs will also increase. Net, short answer to stay relevant is to upgrade service offerings, upgrade our skill sets, upgrade our knowledge. And that is how. Quality is like Morgan Freeman. Keep that in mind. It will stay the same. It will always be relevant. It's just that what he does in movies in '99 is different from what he does today. So it differs. So that's the answer to it.
One last question.
Thank you, sir, for taking us in the future of testing. So I have one question. So you were talking about cognitive variant testing and observability testing. So all those are future things. So what, in your perspective, are the limitations for us to go to that future as we stand today? So what kind of innovations we need to take as a community to reach that future?
See, you become better at something only when you do it, again and again. Observability is, my team here does that today with a number of clients. But do they do that with every client? No. All clients are not ready to implement these solutions. So it's just a matter of time. Today you can say, I understand observability as a concept and I can test it. Here's a strategy to implement an observability solution. Then can you ensure it works every time? At the pace at which technology is moving, newer things are coming up, observability needs to keep pace with that. So you have to demonstrate that over a period of time. I had this very, very interesting conversation with an assessor. All of you have heard of CMMI assessments and PCMM assessments. It used to be very relevant a couple of decades ago. And maybe still those concepts hold good. So there was this person who was floating. My company achieved CMMI level 5 in 3 years. And he was saying that in a very proud manner in multiple platforms, and I got to hear that. And then there was this lead assessor who just went to him, that is wonderful, but I wouldn't be proud about it. CMM stands for maturity, and maturity comes with age. So some of these things need to mature, you need to give it the time, and you have to continuously evolve. So just because you don't have clients who might not take an observability solution doesn't stop you from creating it in your lab and then offering it to clients, doing proof of concepts. And this needs to continue till it reaches some level of maturity.
Thank you, Rajesh. I hate to stop the flow, but we are really running short on time. This was very insightful. Any other questions? Rajesh, his team, Qualitest is right outside there. Please feel free to walk up to their booth. Qualitest, if you could just wave your hand and people would reach out to you. Right there, sitting in front on my right.
This is the team that put this deck together. They'll be able to answer these questions better than me.
So they're always approachable. You could reach out to them. You can have lengthy conversations during the networking breaks. Rajesh, a small token of thanks from Unicom. Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh, for